Well, with the excitement of Epic Universe the past few years, some people may have missed one of the major rumors out there is that on top of getting Super Nintendo World, that Universal has been on some level looking at bringing Zelda into the Universal theme parks. Now, I can speak from first-hand knowledge that this is something that has been in some level of development at Universal, but that was years ago since I have heard anything. But during the Epic Universe construction, we were able to see Link from Zelda in one of the windows of the Super Nintendo store, and since now there are team member previews going on in Epic Universe, there are lots of Zelda and Link items inside of Epic Universe, which begs the question, is Zelda still coming to the Universal theme parks? So in today's video, we're going to dive into this, talk about why it may be coming, as there is some evidence that it may be coming, but also why it may not be coming, and what could be taking its place as one of the next attractions coming to Universal Studios Florida. So hi, I'm Jared with Capture the Magic, and we're going to start this off with an article from Attractions Magazine. And the article is The Legend of Zelda coming to Epic Universe? And they write this because of a lot of the things that have been seen inside of Epic Universe. So it says, references to The Legend of Zelda have been found inside and outside of Universal's Epic Universe theme park, potentially indicating future expansion plans. Is it possible guests could step into the kingdom of Hyrule and meet Link in the near future? They say, hey, listen, Epic Universe, Universal Orlando's newest theme park is currently undergoing previews for team members, employees, and their families. Today, we received intel leading us to believe the Legend of Zelda franchise might be the park's first future edition. While the park does not officially open until May 22nd, Epic Universe seems to have 2 expansion plots set aside for future development, and here's what we know. Said one clue here is in the parking lot, because last week we reported on the names of the sections inside of the Epic Universe parking lot. And those parking sections are Explorer, Monster, Viking, Gamer, and Hero. Each parking section has a medallion with an image on it, making it easier for guests to locate their car at the end of a long day. For example, the monster section has a reanimated hand, presumably belonging to Frankenstein's monster. Pictures inside Epic Universe are strictly prohibited during team member previews, including the parking lot. The above photo was taken from across the street. However, today we received reports the hero section has an illustration of a sword and a shield. The sword and shield in question resemble the Master Sword and the Hylian Shield from the Legend of Zelda series of video games. They also said next to the portal leading into Super Nintendo World rests a gift shop selling everything you might have forgotten to grab while inside the Mushroom Kingdom. Above the store are stained glass windows of your favorite Mario characters and Link from the Legend of Zelda. Now this is one of the construction updates that I did was I spotted this, and it was something that I thought was very interesting to see this in Epic Universe, as Epic Universe is featuring the Mushroom Kingdom, which is Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, those characters, and also Donkey Kong Country, but there is no Legend of Zelda part of Super Nintendo World as of now. So I thought that was an interesting little Easter egg, because I don't think they would put that in there just because. I do think there is something to that. Inside the Super Nintendo Star Store are 3 mosaics on the floor. One for Super Mario Bros., one for Donkey Kong Country, and one for The Legend of Zelda. The mosaic in question depicts Hyrule, the kingdom the Zelda games takes place in. In addition, there are also 2 more stained glass windows of Ganon and Princess Zelda inside the retail location. The store also has 8-bit sprites of the characters on flags. In the image below, released by Universal in January of 24, you can see where one of the floor mosaics are located, as well as some insight as to what the location's interior looks like. The store sells Super Mario and Donkey Kong merchandise, but no Legend of Zelda stuff at this time. It is interesting that they would have Zelda featured pretty heavily on a lot of things, but yet no merchandise being sold. That's kind of interesting. If The Legend of Zelda does come to Epic Universe, would it be part of Super Nintendo World or have its own portal? If it had its own portal, this store could be between the new Zelda portal and Super Nintendo World. Epic Universe isn't open yet, and there's already plenty of buzz about what could be next for Universal Orlando's 3rd theme park. Universal Orlando Resort President Karen Irwin recently said we're already planning for the next thing at Epic. And they also said there's a slew of things coming to existing Universal parks as well. This comes less than a month after Mark Woodbury, chairman and CEO of Universal Destinations and Experiences, gave his thoughts on Wicked having a future at the Universal parks. He says, when I saw Wicked, my first reaction was, this is a theme park waiting to happen, Woodbury said. Karen Irwin did say that, which I thought was very interesting, that in a promotional video for Epic Universe, they're already talking about, they said there's a slew or a slate of things coming to the existing Universal Studios theme parks being Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, and they already have things planned for Epic Universe. Now, there are plenty of expansion plots and areas in which they could expand Epic Universe, which I think they definitely will. But the question is, if they are going to do Zelda, would they do it in Epic Universe, or would they go the Wizarding World route and put it into one of the existing parks? Now, the long-standing rumor out there was that the Legend of Zelda would go into the Lost Continent area. And I think that fuel was added to that rumor because as they had shut down Poseidon's Fury for a revamp of it, they opened it. And then shortly after that, they closed the attraction down. And a lot of people thought at that time, oh, that must mean they're making an announcement soon, because why would you reopen this attraction and then shut it down shortly after? But since then, we haven't heard anything. And like I said in the opening, I can't go into specifics, but all I can tell you is there has been planning and asking guests what they would want out of a Zelda area. And this is something that, they never said the specific area where this might go, but it has been developed on some level inside of Universal. Now, I think recently, seeing the things that are in Epic Universe or hearing the things that are in Epic Universe, it has a lot of fuel to the fire that Zelda is coming. Now, another thing that has added more fuel over the years to the rumor that Zelda was coming was, this was from January of 2024, but it was that over here at Stealth on Twitter X, says in a new Instagram video posted by Universal Studios, which they pulled down shortly after they posted this, by the way, says a hastily deleted video posted to Universal Studios' Instagram account for employees shows Zelda series producer Eiji Aonuma. The video itself is long gone, but the image of him standing right next to Zelda Godfather, and really Nintendo Godfather, Shigeru Miyamoto, they were both spotted at the construction site of Epic Universe in Super Nintendo World. So that further has led more to the rumors that Zelda is coming, because why else would he be there if it wasn't for Zelda coming into the parks? Now, I'm sure he's friends with Miyamoto, so maybe he was there just to check things out, but that has been another thing that has added fuel to the fire. Now, one of the reasons you can make an argument that Zelda may not come to the theme parks, and I think it's becoming a lesser and lesser reason, I guess you could say, an argument, given how much stuff we have seen in Epic Universe featuring Zelda, or heard. I haven't seen firsthand. Hopefully I will be able to very soon. I got to know! But the things that we have heard about being in Epic Universe is the fact that there is a new Legend of Zelda movie coming out. Now, this was going to be assumed it would be animated, much like the Mario movie, and that Universal would do it under the Illumination studio that made Mario. Well, this Legend of Zelda movie is being made by Sony, and it is live action. So the argument there would be, perhaps Universal was developing the idea for Legend of Zelda, but once the movie rights seemingly went to Sony and it's going to be made by a different studio and it's live action, that they no longer were going to bring it into the parks because they couldn't cross-promote it with the movie, which is possible. And the other reason you could even say perhaps that it may not come is something else has come along that is very popular that they may focus on bringing to the parks, which they mentioned in that Attraction Magazine's article, which is Wicked. It's become, obviously it's been a Broadway success, but the movie came out and was a massive success. And again, you had Mark Woodbury in multiple articles saying that Wicked would make a fantastic theme park land. And I don't think he's saying that just thinking it. I think they're saying that, basically saying that this is something we are developing, because again, Universal owns Wicked. They own the rights to Wicked. They made the movie, so it makes a lot of sense for Universal to implement Wicked into the theme parks. So this article is talking about Ariana Grande, who was in the Wicked movie, went on a podcast and basically was pitching the idea of a Wicked theme park area, which she's into theme parks. She's talked about theme parks like Disney parks and other podcasts. I think maybe this podcast as well. But in this part here, they say, separately from Grande's Just for Fun brainstorm, Universal is reportedly developing actual plans for more Wicked attractions in its theme parks beyond the walkthrough exhibit and gift shop currently open, because they do have a Wicked exhibit in Universal Parks, which has been very popular. And I think that that's maybe a test run to see how that went before they maybe went further. But it has been from what I've heard, it has gone very well. It says, when I saw Wicked, my first reaction was, this is a theme park waiting to happen. Mark Woodbury said again, he is the CEO of Universal Destinations and Experiences. He is a guy that would know about this because he is directly involved in implementing these things. New York Times reporter Brooks Barnes was more forward than Woodbury, adding, Mr. Woodbury has still secret plans for significant attractions themed to Wicked. Neither Woodbury nor Barnes indicated the intended location of these attractions, be they at Epic Universe or a different theme park or destination other than Orlando. I don't believe it has to come down to an either-or scenario. So before this recent things of Zelda being seen at Epic Universe, I kind of was buying that maybe Zelda wasn't coming because the rumors were really hot and heavy there for a while. And again, had some knowledge of it being developed inside of Universal, but then not hearing anything for a while. One would assume they would have announced it perhaps opening, and maybe they still are. But then once you saw Wicked become so popular, the comments by Woodbury, it kind of made me think, well, maybe they're shifting because Wicked makes a lot of sense now. It's not something I'm interested in, but from a success standpoint of the movie, from the fact that it does have a large audience, it makes a lot of sense to put that into your theme parks on top of the fact that they own the rights to Wicked. They don't have to deal with third parties. They can just do what they want with it because they own the rights to it. Makes a lot of sense. To me, that's a no-brainer to implement into your theme parks. But given what we've seen in Epic Universe, it's kind of made me think that I think perhaps both are coming, because I don't think you have this much Zelda stuff in Epic Universe if you're not going to put Zelda into your theme parks. I just don't think that makes any sense to do that. Obviously, you could have Zelda merchandise. There is merchandise sold in theme parks that does not have attractions or lands in it, but to feature Zelda in a window, perhaps on the mosaic on the floor, perhaps have the parking sign be from Zelda. I think those are a lot of Easter eggs pointing us to the fact that Zelda is coming, and it seems like it is likely coming to Epic Universe. Now, a lot of people, again, will point to the Wizarding World. You have one in each park, including Epic Universe. So would Universal follow the same pattern and have Nintendo properties in each park? Obviously, because you want to have people spread out and not just going to Epic Universe, going to other parks. So it would make sense to bring something that you think people want, put them in the existing park. I do know there have been concerns by Universal about just the popularity of Zelda. Is it enough to really draw people in? If that's true and they're not really sure about how to really sell it to the general audience, because it is a popular IP, but Nintendo's kind of a strange thing. It has its own little niche group. If there are concerns on that front, it would make a lot of sense to put it in Super Nintendo World and Epic Universe, because you still have headlining attractions there, and a Zelda edition would just be something else you could check out there, would still be a draw, but so would the other things in that area of the park. I think that would make a lot of sense, because the other rumor you have is Pokemon may be replacing The Simpsons over in Universal Studios, which would then leave somewhere in Islands of Adventure for another Nintendo property, which is definitely possible that they could still do that. So I suppose it comes down to, are they going to put it in the Lost Continent, or are they going to put it in Epic Universe? I think a lot of signs are pointing that this is coming to Epic Universe, and this is probably, if I were to guess, one of the first expansions we see of Epic Universe is being Zelda coming to Super Nintendo World, because I also think Super Nintendo World is going to be the most popular land in Epic Universe, as Nintendo is huge. I think a lot of people underestimate just how big Nintendo is and video games are in general, so it would make a lot of sense on your first expansion of really doubling down to what's been successful, that you would expand Super Nintendo World. I personally think it's probably going to happen. That's just a lot of things Zelda related being in this park. So it would make a lot of sense that you would basically put these things in here knowing it's coming to feature it later. But that's just my humble take on this. I could be completely wrong, but I think these things are fun to talk about. And I genuinely am excited for Nintendo properties coming to Universal Studios, and I'd like to see more of them. So maybe this wishful thinking on my part, but I think you're likely to see both Zelda and Wicked come to the Universal parks. I don't think it's an and/or scenario when looking at these things. But either way, that's going to be it though for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel, as we do lots of coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments, do you think that Zelda is coming to the Universal Studios parks? And if you think it is, where do you think it's going to go? And until next time, we will see you in the parks.